Hey gang, Jane here. Welcome back, and if you're new here, I'm so glad you're joining me. Today we're diving into a quick and simple little granny square that's perfect if you're just starting out or if you just want something fast and satisfying. I'm calling this one Snappy because honestly, it works up in a snap. This square came about while I was designing a new blanket with my sand dollar octagon. I needed a small square to tuck into those little in-between spaces, and this 4-round fella was what came about. I'll be walking you through this one step by step, almost like a crochet along, so you can stitch right along with me. I'm using 3 colors today, but it works beautifully in just 1 color or as many as 4 if you prefer. Perfect for scraps and great for building an entire blanket from your scrap basket. So let's go over the colors using my color swatch samples. So the colors that I'm working with today are this beautiful blue. This is called Soft Sage by Caron 1 pound, Caron. The white is Winter White from Bernat Super Value. And this nice light beige is Almond from Impeccable. 3 simple colors, very simple square, 4 rounds only. I'm going to be using a 5mm crochet hook today. I'll also be using a pair of scissors and a darning needle because I work my ends in as I go. So grab your favorite colors, settle in, and let's get started. Starting with my magic ring and my almond color, I lay my yarn cut end facing me across my palm. I take the end and I wrap it over 2 fingers, cross it underneath and hold in place with my thumb, and then I wrap over 3 fingers. Taking my hook, I go under the first strand and over the second, pull it through and twist it on the hook. Then I reach over to the 3rd finger here, hook that yarn and pull it through for the first chain 1. Now that holds my ring in place and is counted as my first chain 1. I can slip my fingers out and I have my magic ring ready to go. Round number 1 is going to be double crochets and chain 1s. So our first double crochet is represented by a chain 3. I have chain 1 already there, so I need a second one and a third one. This chain 3 is my beginning chain 3 and it represents my first double crochet stitch. Then I chain a 4th one and that represents the chain 1 space that will be between it and the next double crochet. So now we work a double crochet into this ring right here. Wrap the yarn around your hook, insert into the ring, yarn over and pull up a loop. I have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's my double crochet and I have a chain 1 in between. I want 12 double crochets and 12 chain 1 spaces by the end of this ring. Chain 1 and double crochet again into this ring. Everything works into the ring. Chain 1 and double crochet into the ring. And now you can crochet along with me. So I end with a chain 1 and I should have 12 double crochets, including that chain at the beginning, and 12 chain 1 spaces, including that chain 4 at the beginning as well. So let's just count to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, ending with a chain 1. Now we want to cinch in our ring, so I take the working yarn and I throw that to the back. Pick up the cut end of the yarn, place your finger and thumb at the base of that last stitch and pull on the cut yarn. And that cinches your ring right up. Now you can pull it as tight as you like. Try not to break your yarn. Hopefully it won't break. You can cinch it tighter when we go to darn it in, but I cinch it up nice so that I can now finish my round. Because I end with a chain 1, I'm just going to do a slip stitch to end my round. I slip stitch in the 3rd chain of that beginning chain 4. That represents the top of the double crochet stitch. So count up 1, 2, 3. There's the 3rd chain. Insert my hook in there, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull it through the one on the hook. That's my slip stitch to end the round. Now I'm going to cut my yarn about 3 to 4 inches and pull it through. Now I like to work my ends in as I go, so I'm going to show you how I do that. We'll start with this one that we just cut. Put it on your darning needle. I like darning needles that have kind of a big eye so you can get the yarn in there easily. They have them made for yarn, and those are the better ones because I don't like having to fight to get that end into my needle. Now I joined in the 3rd chain here, and then I cut, and where I want to go is into the 4th chain. So I'm going to go down into the 4th chain, pull it down, and then I'm going to come back up into the stitch that I finished with, the same one the yarn comes out of, and pull the needle back up. That gives it a little bit of a loop that secures it. It's almost like a knot without the bulk of a knot. At this point, I can now work in the back loops only of the stitches as far around as I want. And because we're on round 1, I'll probably go most of the way around because I do have 3 to 4 inches and I like to put as much of that in as possible. And that stays secure because the next round will be worked over top of it. So you're going to distort your ring a little as you do this. That's okay. Once you've got it all the way around, just give it a little pull. And then if there's anything left over, you can chop that off with scissors and it works right in. So see how my hole kind of let go there a bit? Now I'm going to work this one in. So give it another pull to however you want it to look. You can leave a little bit of a hole there too if you want. And get this one onto your darning needle. Now on the wrong side, so this is the right side of our work, the front, flip it over, we're going to work it into the back. I'm going to continue around in the same direction so it comes out of this side of the ring. I'm going to keep on going just around that center ring part. So I do that probably about 2 more times. I usually don't turn around and go in the opposite direction because I put it in there pretty tight. You can, if you feel you have a slippy yarn that wants to let go, turning it around and going the other direction makes it even more secure. So what you would do is go over one strand here so you're not pulling it back out and go back in and go in the opposite direction. And you do that at least once and it's in there pretty secure. I've never had one fall out when I do this. And I don't do the reverse. I just go around twice. But I also use yarn that snags nicely, right? It's just acrylic yarn I'm working with. If you're working with really slippy yarns, you might want to make it just a little more secure. And I'm not one to do knots, but if it's a really slippy yarn, you might want to do just a little knot at the back, tying it to itself. So once you have that in, you can cut that end off. Make everybody neat and tidy. And there we go. That's round number 1 and our ends are worked in. Round number 2, I'm going to be working with my winter white. And this is a simple single crochet chain 1 round. So we can start in any one of the chain spaces. I like to rotate my ring around so that where I'm darning them at the back doesn't get bulked up. So just find any one of the chain spaces and insert your hook in there. So what I do is I start with a standing single crochet, so I'm not inserting it yet. The other option is to pull up a slip stitch, chain 1, and single crochet in that same stitch. I find that creates a little bit more bulk than I want, so I'll show you how to do a standing single crochet. Holding my yarn at the back with my finger against the piece I'm working on, wrap your hook around, so the yarn is wrapped around the hook, I should say, once. Keep holding on at the back with this finger, don't let go. And insert the hook into your chain space and under the back strand, so you're working it in as well. Yarn over and pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on the hook. Never let go with this finger. If you do, it'll all unravel. Yarn over and pull through 2. That's your standing single crochet. You can now let go and that won't unravel. It's been worked in. I like doing this method because I find it doesn't give you a bulk. Some people start the standing single crochet with a knot. on the hook, which is another way to do it. But again, I still find that that knot on the hook creates some bulk. So this is the way that I do it, and it just seamlessly goes right into your work. So now that we have our first single crochet in our chain 1 space, I work my yarn in by going up over my working yarn. See how I toss that over? And chain 1. Bringing it back down over my working yarn, and I work a single crochet in the next chain space. So I am working my yarn up and down into each stitch so that you don't see it in that chain space. Taking the cut end back over top of the working yarn, chain 1, bring it back down, and work it into the back, into the next chain space, single crochet. And we're going to do that all the way around, so we have 12 single crochets and 12 chain 1 spaces. And I will continue to work this yarn in until it's pretty much all worked in. So you can work along with me until we get to the end. I have more detailed instructions on how to work your ends in like this, especially with the single crochet chain 1. I'll leave a link to that video down below. It's a full video tutorial done a lot slower. So when I get back to the end, I end with a chain 1. I have 12 single crochets and 12 chain 1 spaces. I want to slip stitch in this first single crochet. So I usually do a slip stitch join when I end with a chain 1. If this was a solid stitch, I would do an invisible join. Again, that's something I have another tutorial on. But if you're wondering and you know that I do both, this is why I do the slip stitch, because I end with a chain 1. It doesn't really show. So insert your hook in under the 2 loops of that first single crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull it through the one on the hook. That completes your round. Now we're going to cut our yarn 3 to 4 inches, pull it through, and we're going to work that one in as well. Get it onto your darning needle. We do the same thing. We go down, but this time we don't have the beginning chain stitch. We have an actual single crochet. So we go down into that first single crochet stitch, and I usually go down 2 loops at the back here, pull it through gently, and then come back up through the final stitch you just made there. That gives you your little loop. Now we go through the back loops as far around as we want to, and that secures it in place. Pull it back out so it's not all distorted. If you have any of the yarn left over, you can snip it off. I have a little wee piece there. And don't worry about snipping the little pieces because they will work themselves in as you work the squares. Like the subsequent rounds, that piece will work right in. This one's a little longer, so I'm going to snip it. This was the one we worked in at the beginning. And there we have round 2 finished. No ends on the back. And we're on to round 3. So round number 3, there are only 4 rounds in this square, and the next 2 will be done in this blue. It's a beautiful blue. It's such a soft color. This is the squaring round of the square. So again, I'm going to start with a standing single crochet. Find 1 chain space here that you want to start in, any one. Hold the yarn at the back. Wrap the yarn around the hook. I just go in and swoop my hook in there, holding onto that yarn so it doesn't go anywhere. Insert into that chain space that you've chosen, and make sure that the cut end goes over top of the hook. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2. There's your standing single crochet, and that's how we start. I'm going to work my yarn in as I go again. Chain 1, bring it back down, work into the next chain space, single crochet. Chain 1, and that is 1 edge. In the next chain space, we're going to work a double crochet. So going under the yarn and under my cut end together. Pull up a loop. And remember that center one has 2 strands to it, but there's 3. Yarn over, pull through the first 2, which includes the cut end. And then we have 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through 2. That's your double crochet with working the yarn in. A little more complicated. Now we chain 3 for our corner, and we work a double crochet back into the same chain space that we just worked in, and my cut end is down here, so we don't need to worry about it. Yarn over, insert into the same chain space, complete your double crochet, and I bring my yarn up on that last 2 loops just to work it in again, and then chain 1. So let's just take a look at what we've done here. Really simple, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, and then in the next space we do double crochet, chain 3, double crochet. So each one gets its own chain space, but the corners you work the whole corner into a chain space. So now we're going to work across the next edge. So we've done our chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, and single crochet in the next chain space. Chain 1, in the next chain space, work your corner. Double crochet, chain 3, and double crochet. So you just worked another corner, just like this one. Working across our next edge, chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1. We're on to our next corner. In the next chain space, double crochet, chain 3, and double crochet. We have 3 edges of our square done so far. I have this edge and 1 corner left to do. Chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1. Now we're working our last corner. We have 1 chain space left. In there we work our double crochet, chain 3, and our double crochet. We end with a chain 1, and then we slip stitch into that first single crochet. So just insert under the 2 loops of the top of the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull it through the one on the hook. That ends round 3, but we're not cutting our yarn this time. We have 1 more simple round, and we're done the square. So now we're ready for round 4. So keeping our yarn on the hook, you want to slip stitch into the next chain space. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull it through the one on the hook. That slips us over to this chain space because we're only working in the chain spaces. So now we're going to continue with round 4 by chain 1 and single crochet in that same chain space we just slipped into. That creates our first stitch of round 4. Chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, and we're to our corner. In the corner, we want to single crochet, chain 3, and single crochet all into that corner chain 3. So there's our single crochet, chain 3, and single crochet. That gives you the corner. Now we're going to work across our next edge. Chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1. Now there's my cut end, and it'll just work in there. I'll cut it later. Single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, and single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1. So you have 3 single crochets across the edge, and then in the corner we have single crochet, chain 3, and a single crochet. If you find your corners are bumping out too much, like you find they're a little on the loopy side, you can bring that down to a chain 2. Doesn't make a huge amount of difference, and I use them interchangeably all the time. Depending on the yarn, depending on how I'm crocheting that day, sometimes it's a chain 3 and sometimes it's a chain 2. It depends on what the look I am looking for is. These are bumping out a little more than I expected, but I think I'm okay with them. Chain 2 would just give me a little bit of a tighter corner. So working across our next edge, chain 1, single crochet in our next chain space, chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, and single crochet in that last chain space of this edge, chain 1, and then we're back to our corner. In the corner, we do a single crochet, chain 3, and a single crochet. So we've made it around 2.5 edges here. We started at the center of the edge here. So we have this one done and we have this one done. Chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, single crochet next chain space, chain 1, and single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1. You're back to the next corner. This is the last corner. Single crochet, chain 3, and single crochet all into that chain 3 space. Now we just have to complete this last half of this edge. Chain 1 and single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, and we are there. We now want to slip stitch to end our round, so go into that first single crochet, put your hook under the 2 loops, pull up a loop, and pull it through the one on the hook. That's a slip stitch to end the round. Cut your yarn 3 to 4 inches and pull through. And then I end by working this end in because it's my final one and I like all my ends to be worked in as I go. So get that yarn on your darning needle. Do the same thing we did for all the others. You go down into that first stitch of the round and then you come back up right behind it. It's okay if you're not exact. That's the idea. You're going in pretty close to where you finished and then you're coming back up pretty close to that. So you're creating a little loop that secures that end. Then you're going to work into the back loops only. As far as round as you feel comfortable, you can get the whole piece in if you want. You're going to distort your work a little as you do this. See, I get as much on there as I can. And then I pull it through. And then I pull it back so it's not all distorted. I can work the rest of this in, but I'm probably not going to because I'm pretty secure with that. And there you have your squares complete. 4 rounds, super simple. Thanks so much for joining me today. And remember, if you want to find my full blanket patterns, those are all available over in my shop. And if you want to see more of my color palette ideas, the yarns I like to use, and more behind the scenes good stuff, I share all that over on my Patreon. I would love to have you join me over there. Have fun, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.